In this video, we're going to go over the thinking critically on page 157 and 158, the what do you think on page 160, and the caption on page 161. Page 157, thinking critically. What impact might greater federal responsibility representation have for Aboriginal peoples in Canada? Different ethnic groups often have different worldviews. If more people of Aboriginal ancestry were elected to Parliament, then it would be more likely for the Aboriginal worldview to be considered when the federal government makes decisions affecting Aboriginal peoples. Issues specific to Aboriginal peoples, such as settling land claims, would be more likely to be resolved if Aboriginal people are in the House of Commons raising questions about these issues. What do you think on page 158? The Charter states that the government can limit a person's right or freedom, but must show why the limit is necessary. What limits might there be on rights and freedoms shown on this page? Why might limits be necessary? Another very interesting question for the current era we're in. The government might limit the fundamental right to associate with others if the association involves activities that are against the law, or in our current situation, health. We can express our opinions as long as our expression does not promote hatred against another group or group of people. Your right to vote is restricted if you are younger than 18. Your mobility rights to live where you want in Canada can be restricted if you want to live on a First Nations reserve or on Crown land. Your right to enter or leave Canada can be restricted if you are accused or convicted of breaking certain laws. Your equality right to work can be restricted based on your age. If you are underage, you cannot work in a place where alcohol is served or where gambling occurs. Your right to be educated in French might be limited if there are not a sufficient number of people in your community who want to be educated in French. Your Aboriginal right to hunt or fish can be restricted if the species being hunted is endangered. Also, the right to trap in order to trade might be limited to your assigned trap line. What do you think on page 160? Only Canadians aged 18 and over can vote in federal elections. Why is the age set at 18? Should citizens younger than 18 be allowed to vote? Boy, I'd sure love to hear your opinion on this one, because there's a lot of people who support students having the right to vote in elections, even though they're under 18. In many circumstances, I'd say a lot of students are mature enough and are aware of what's going on in the world, whereas actually there's a lot of people over 18 that are not aware and are quite often not casting that educated vote. So legally, people become adults at age 18, but young people often feel excluded from the democratic process. People who argue against lowering the voting age to 16 say that most 16-year-olds lack the maturity to make difficult decisions about who to vote for and are easily swayed by extremist rhetoric. The other side of the argument says that if we can get 16-year-olds interested in the election process while they are still in school, they'll be more likely to vote when they are 18. In the 2008 federal election, only 37% of people aged 18 to 25 voted. Because of this, Elections Canada made getting more young people out to vote a priority in May 2011. Nearly every constituency hired young people during the election whose specific role was to persuade the 18 to 25-year-olds to participate and vote in the election. One of the interesting things they did that year also was, if you had ever seen the movie Napoleon Dynamite, the man who played the character Pedro was actually brought into Canada to encourage students to vote. Now, the caption on page 161. What service is government providing in each situation? Number one, the RCMP provides safety and law enforcement in rural areas throughout Canada where there is no provincial or municipal police force. 2, the second picture is of an air traffic control room where planes are guided to land and take off safely. The third picture is of a national park guide teaching young people about the environment.